Many sports involve throwing or launching some sort of projectile, which follows a parabolic flight path through the air that can be easily modeled. A frisbee, however, is not so simple. If any of you have attempted to throw one, you will know just how difficult it is to launch a disc a reasonable distance, especially compared to the relative ease most can chuck a baseball or other similarly spherical objects. What difference between a baseball and disc so drastically affects their flight paths? The obvious answer is their shape, and indeed the shape of a frisbee introduces new forces that act on the disc differently. Spherical projectiles, like this baseball, are under normal conditions only considerably affected by the force of gravity. A frisbee, however, which is shaped more like the wing of an airplane, is more drastically affected by the forces of lift and drag. So how do these forces affect the flight of the two objects? For a baseball, as with many other projectiles, the displacement can be optimized with an initial angle of 45 degrees to the horizontal plane. For a frisbee, well, the math is more complicated. The force of drag can be calculated with the following equation, where A is the cross-sectional area, V is the velocity, RH is the density of the fluid medium, in this case air, and C sub D is the coefficient of drag, which is linearly proportional to the angle at which the frisbee is thrown. The force of lift is calculated through a very similar equation. Using Newton's second law, the acceleration in the horizontal and vertical directions can be calculated and used to determine the distance traveled. By setting the total horizontal force equal to the net horizontal force and the sum of the lift and gravitational forces equal to the net vertical force, we can solve for the vertical and horizontal components of acceleration, and therefore distance traveled. After many substitutions, we arrive at the answer of pi over 14.75 radians, or approximately 12.2 degrees. So the next time you find yourself with a disc in hand and a group of friends, show off with your knowledge.